It's truly an honor to be here, and I'm so happy to be able to share my limited experience with everybody here. As you've mentioned, this chat is called High Fiber Count, Weaving Quality into the Organizational Fabric. I'll just be sharing my screen. Okay. So on the agenda today, what is organizational fabric? How to identify, deliver, and quantify impact, how to weave that in, and hopefully we'll have enough time for a little back and forth, right? So, main question, what is organizational fabric? So I want everybody to just take a second and think about where you work. It can be your company, maybe your section, your division, your organization, or even a team. But when you think about it, I think you'll agree with me that it's not a single entity, is it? It's a collection of many things, of many different types. It is the collection of people who work there and how they interact. It's the culture of engineering, the sort of tech you use, the way you manage your deployment or sprint. It's the corporate branding, the swag we give up in the holidays, the company retreat, if you're lucky to have one, the happy hour. It's your HR policies, interview process, performance evaluation. It's power dynamics and politics. It's things written down and passed to every employee as official policies, company missions, OKRs, SMART goals, but it's also things passed out informally between peers. It's how you explain your job to your friends and family and how your product is portrayed in the press. And these things, all of these things, they don't exist in isolation, right? These are not disparate pillars with no overlapping. You see, the fabric of the organization is how all of these things interweave with each other, feed into and off of each other. So I'm gonna set the scene. I joined Meta around 8 years ago. It was still called Facebook back then. It was a huge 60,000 plus people company. Biggest company I worked for previously was just shy of 1,000. I was QA lead number 21 globally. And one of the things that struck me most was how different the organizational culture was from anything else I was familiar with. How people's decisions were informed by the culture. And here in this slide, you can see Meta's core values. When I would suggest a new project, I would instantly be asked to describe the impact. During planning, I would be asked to consider, am I moving fast? And these terms meant something specific to all the people around me. These people understood the fabric of this organization and they leveraged it to make communication easier, to get faster and easier alignment on goals. Somehow, in this behemoth of an organization, I found it extremely easy to get alignment, to get buy-in, to get new projects started, and it all had something to do with this special organizational culture. And as I learned the ropes of this strange new cultural dynamic, an idea started to creep into my mind. How do I use this tool, this fabric, to do my work for me? Now, you see, I was a single QA lead and I was supporting multiple groups of dozens of engineers, designers, analysts, product managers, and more. It didn't matter how good my ideas were, how well I made my statements. I was just one voice out of many. There was always a limit to what I could directly affect. Only so many projects I could directly get involved in. And I felt that if I could harness this power, if I could make the things that I cared about be part of the thought process of the people around me, if I could weave into the culture the quality that I cared about, I could turn the tides. But how do you make the people you work with care about quality? Let's talk about the impact of quality. See, in order for other people to care, you must first care more strongly than anybody else. You've got to place yourself as the quality zealot. You have to preach whenever you get the chance, wherever you get the chance, because your end goal is to place yourself as the subject matter expert of quality. You need to get yourself into the position so that when the time comes, you will have the confidence of your peers and your leadership to affect change. And in order to get you there, you need to be producing value to everybody around you in more than just your perspective. Now, in this talk, I'm going to tell you about 3 superpowers that are going to help you do the following. 1, deliver work that impacts the primary goals of the company in a meaningful way. 2, align your stakeholders with extreme clarity and consistency. And 3, translate the impact of your work in the quality domain to impact the team leads and managers you are working with, will understand and care about. Okay? So, superpower number 1, prioritizing. Okay, so according to some definition, prioritizing is this super beautiful art of organizing everything into separated tasks and then organizing those into a nice orderly list you can go through and calmly cross off until completion. That sounds perfect, right? I mean, I love lists. I mean, the only thing I love more than lists are spreadsheets, which, like, when you come to think about it, those are just multidimensional lists, right? So it's only natural that I would love prioritizing. But even with the best of intentions and good groundwork, we often end up in a situation like this. See, this slide is a real road mapping session that I participated in. And as you can see, everything is a P0. Good prioritizing just isn't enough. We need to ruthlessly prioritize. When we do this, we look at not just what is business critical, but we also focus on our own individual ability to deliver. So you need to understand what are the projects that you can deliver that are not only the very best for the company, but they are also the ones that you are able to deliver on the very best of results. Because there are always good ideas, there are always many areas that are crying for your attention. But if you are spreading yourself thin, if you are trying to deliver on too many things, if you're working on something that is hard for you, but would have been incredibly easy for someone else, you are, in fact, failing. So what do? It's about accepting that you're never going to be able to complete everything, and finding the few things that are not only important and impactful, but are also what you are going to be delivering on better than anybody else. That means finding the special sweet spot between project goals, personal goals, and strength. And the X marks the spot. The project that combines all of these three is the one where you are going to be providing the very best value to your organization. Ruthless prioritization is about stopping list making and starting decision making. Superpower number 2, extreme clarity. Let me take you back in time a little bit, okay? So it's 1930, and Winston Churchill wrote this memorandum to the members of his war cabinet. In it, he emphasized the need for concise and clear communication, focused on delivering information in as short a time and with maximum clarity. What he was writing about is what we now refer to as extreme clarity. Extreme clarity is when everybody is on the same page. This does not mean that everyone agrees about what to do. It means that everyone shares the same understanding of the facts. These are the 5 C's of extreme clarity. Stay clear. Ambiguity is your enemy. You are the subject matter expert. Everyone else is not. Leave no room for anyone to misinterpret you. 2, be context aware. No matter how fond you are of 3-letter acronyms, you can't assume everybody knows them. Remember this one the next time you're working on a software testing document or STD. Be consistent. Have a template and use it for everything. Emails, bugs, tasks. Educate people to expect your structure. This is doubly important when doing prompt engineering. Be concrete. As Dr. Seuss wrote, say what you mean what you say. Don't tell me you did well on your test. Tell me you got a B+. Be concise. Keep it short and to the point. Don't indulge in long stories. Stick to facts. Use numbered lists. Short description. Avoid diving into details that can divert attention from what you are trying to convey. And to demonstrate this, let's take an average everyday example. This might look to you like a perfectly acceptable mail. You probably have written mails like this. Let's see how we apply the 5 C's to this mail. We'll start by going over the mail together. Hi, everyone. We've heard the feedback from everybody, carefully considered it, and are announcing the new LED process today. As far as the process goes, we're standardizing for maximum consistency. By Tuesday afternoon, you should sign up for a short review slot and then send pre-reads by Wednesday, end of day. The review is still at the same time as always. Finally, don't forget to post notes after the review. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions, concerns, or thoughts in general. Thank you, everyone, for all the detailed feedback you've given. We really appreciate it. I mean, on the surface, it seems okay, right? But let's take a critical, extreme clarity eye to this. Number 1, context awareness. Who understands what is LED? Are we sure everybody knows this? What about being concrete? What is short? Is it 30 minutes? Is it 15? Is it 10? Clarity. Why do we need so many different times to call a time of day? Use a consistent daytime format. And finally, indulge in paragraphs. You don't need so many variations on thanks for the feedback. Now, by applying the principles of extreme clarity, we can see how we create communication that leaves no room for misunderstanding. See, we need extreme clarity so we can focus all our energy on solving actual problems. That alone is hard enough, so imagine trying to do problem solving while also not agreeing on the basic facts. Without extreme clarity, we waste time talking past each other, disagreeing about things we actually agree on, and making decisions in the absence of full understanding. Instead, let us work to achieve extreme clarity. And then we can effectively talk, disagree, and make decisions. Superpower number 3, meaningful metrics. If you want your peers to engage more with quality, you must understand that they don't care about test plans or bugs. They care about meeting deadlines, about less time debugging production errors, about not having to do emergency maintenance during the night. You have to understand that you're not selling testing or bug triaging. You're selling a better development and user experience. We work in a world focused on delivery, driven by data, which means you must be able to showcase the impact of quality on something that the executives are going to be interested in during a quarterly review. That's not number of bugs. For a metric to be effective, it needs to describe a real-world, direct effect, not an effort. It needs to support a narrative that makes sense, something of the type, we did X and that led to Y. And it needs to be actionable, meaning that by reviewing the metric, we can come up with action items, with things that we can do to shift and change that metric. So let's look at some good examples for these sort of metrics and how you calculate them. How much time did we save with testing? Okay? So that sounds like a metric that most engineering managers would be highly invested in. But it also sounds like something that might be hard to calculate. No, not. Let's call the engineering hours saved the time the organization invests in fixing bugs is the total number of hours engineers spent on bug fixing. So we need the total number of bugs that were fixed and then an estimate of how long it takes to fix a bug. That's the amount of time engineers are investing in bug fixing. We should probably separate by bug severity, given that more complex bugs probably take longer to resolve. And we need to normalize by number of available engineers per time period so that the changes in team size don't skew the results. Okay? So once again, number of bugs multiplied by the average amount it takes an engineer to fix those bugs of a certain priority, sum that up, divided by number of engineers. Okay? We calculate this metric on a monthly basis to show how an investment resulted in less engineering hours spent on maintenance. A couple more examples. How much do bugs cost us? Get an average daily revenue number from, I don't know, like a quarterly report, your marketing people, your biz dev, whatever. Multiply by number of days it takes to fix a critical revenue affecting issue. Multiply by number of critical issues, you got a dollar value for lack of disaster recovery. How effective is your testing? Any bug detected but not fixed has had no real-world effect. So take the number of bugs actually fixed and divide them by total number of bugs detected to understand if you are investing a lot of time in doing testing and finding bugs people don't end up caring about. Okay, and obviously, I assume the slides will be made available and you can ask follow-up questions once we're done on these metrics. It's always a good idea to do breakdowns over some sort of timelines. This allows us to show trends and effects. It shows us how investment manifests in metrical measured changes. In this example, I'm showing the cumulative result of improving our testing, triaging, reporting, and escalation processes. The orange line represents average time to close a bug during this time period. Blue line represents total number of bugs detected during the same time period. We went from weeks to close a small volume of bugs to just days to close a much larger volume of bugs. Total reversal of trends. More bugs close in less time. An obvious win when you present it in this way. If you only take 3 things from this. 1, your metrics need to measure real-world effects, not just numbers. 2, be consistent and transparent, and make sure your math makes sense. 3, always show trends over time to support the narrative you are selling, okay? Because we want to convince people that investing in quality is a positive investment. It pays off. So, with these 3 superpowers, you are now primed to become an authority figure whom people look for in all things quality. Let's talk a little on how to structure processes that interweave with the cultural fabric. And here's the thing. You may have encountered this before. You've had great ideas, but even though the idea is great, even though your design and implementation is great, after a while, you see you just can't get traction for it. See, when you design a process, you have to think of what it is that supports it, what feeds into it, and where it will feed into. Remember, organizational fiber interweaves. If you build a process and it has no interactions, no support, nothing railroading people to interact with it, you'll find yourself always having to maintain it, forcing people into it manually. Dogfooding is a term you may be familiar with. The short of it is that to dog food is to encourage the employee to use the company's product. I don't want to delay talking about the pros and cons of dog fooding. I want to use dog fooding as an example of how you can bake quality into the organizational fabric. Now, for Facebook, dog fooding meant that when the company decided to be a mobile-first company and then later an Android-first company, every employee got an Android phone, and all employees participated in pre-release testing of new versions of the Facebook and Messenger apps. A lot of infra was developed only to support this. So I want to share with everybody here a dog fooding practice you can start in your company today. So this picture was taken in one of our periodic dog fooding parties. I do this in many of the teams I support with. On a monthly basis, I work with designers and product managers to nominate a few new features. We get a bunch of pizzas and select a few team members to come and test out new features. The product people and designers would come up with leading questions. We would map out a few key testing flows, and the participants will all go through them and provide whatever feedback they thought appropriate. Why was this effective? 1, it got everybody involved in testing. 2, people are a lot more motivated to actually fix things they encounter personally or have firsthand experience with. 3, it was a privilege to participate. It was something fun that people would queue up to be a part of. Everybody wanted to participate so that they can put it on their performance review that they did a dogfooding event. And 4, after I created a couple of these by myself, the buzz was out and the next events came together with almost no input on my side. People just wanted to do it by themselves. It had become a part of the team culture. Now, this is me a few years ago, leading a team of 14 engineers and product designers on what I called R&D, or research and dog fooding trip. This specific picture was taken in Arusha, Tanzania, where we deployed a public Wi-Fi project called Express Wi-Fi. The trip included 2 days of on-site, real-world experience with our product, meeting the actual people who used and maintained it. Then, on the 3rd day, we do an on-site bug bash of all the issues we encountered during the first 2 days and actually go back into the field to verify the fixes. 1. For obvious reasons, these trips became incredibly popular. It was actually a selling point to attract candidates to join our team. The high cost of the trips meant it was an exclusive reward to go on one, and people had to show a strong quality agenda in order to participate. All of a sudden, quality became something people planned for all year long just because they wanted a chance to go on one of these. Dogfooding is an excellent example of interweaving quality into your organizational fabric. But you can take the same approach with other mechanisms. So company fix-a-thons, beta communities, early adopters, user experience research. These are all platforms where you can shine a light on quality, make others want to do more quality. You have to find a way to let others gain a benefit. Doesn't matter what kind of benefit. It can be as simple as bragging rights, a piece of swag they can show on their desk, but they have to get something out of it. And then once that's in place, the process will be able to feed itself. Now, I mentioned before dedicated infra for dog fooding. This is weaving quality into your actual code, okay? By pushing for better reporting infra, you lower the price of quality feedback. So a good example here is Rage Shake, where just by angrily shaking your phone, users can trigger a bug ticket submission form. Rage shaking makes bugs fun. The idea is to make testing or reporting easy by building the info to support it. Think about an engineer's ability to run test code on their own machine rather than commit the code and wait for some build script or cloud test to run on it before getting feedback. Or think about the ability of early adopters or beta testers to report issues directly from your app interface instead of by going to Discord or a mailing list. See, nobody wakes up in the morning saying, you know what, today I'm going to write shitty code. I'm going to ship it at the very end of the day, then vanish when prod starts burning. But nevertheless, that keeps on happening all the time. This is because quality is not on people's top of mind. So you build processes that make the quality choice the common choice. You design it all so that people will get more value out of it. You make it fun, you make it rewarding, you make it interesting. You make quality a bragging right. You make people desire it. So remember, the fabric of your organization is a tool. Understand it. Use the superpowers of ruthless prioritization, extreme clarity, meaningful metrics to deliver the best value to your team. Design processes that run themselves so they weave into the organizational fabric. Thank you so much for listening.